In charge of stuff in our snow.
Then I'm doing this in the airport south of Cloud.
Wait, my pens are frozen. Let's start that.
It's 2:01. I don't like to start late. I might show up at 2, but I like to start at 10. All right, we'll call this meeting to order. There's no additions or corrections to the agenda. Stand. If there's no additions or corrections to January 24th, 2025 meeting minutes, those will be filed on the website. Public comment on any agenda items. Public hearing, adoption of updated Fergus County floodplain hazard management regulations. We don't have anybody, I mean, you're gonna handle that, you don't have Staley's going.
Staley sent a letter this morning.
Oh, all right.
They're close to what they were before, more detailed. I mean, when I went through it, it was a lot of the same, but just a lot more detailed.
You all got the one from Megan with this. I didn't put it in your packet because I
I
didn't have
gave
to
it
net.
to you.
Okay.
So, the hearing on floodplain hazard management regulations is pretty much the same with a little more added.
Yeah. And Tracy from DNR staff looked over the draft that Megan and I have worked on, and she was good with it.
That's good. I read through it, but that doesn't mean anything.
And it just kind of blends together and you try to.
And I just compared it to 2014. More detail, and some of them are page for page the same.
Right.
Why are we up here?
I think they're required, or every 7 years or something, or 10, or whatever it is.
Right.
Last one was December 14, this one's 25, so. 10 years.
My guess is it's another FEMA regulation. Just like the training everybody just went through.
Probably with that back, with one more specifics and. Probably some clarity in some.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments on the public hearing? All right, we'll close the public hearing. No bid openings, personnel announcements. They're looking for a planner, permanent full-time, planner and training. Okay, four planner training, permanent full-time. Environmental health sanitarian, permanent full-time, and weed department weed sprayer, short-term. Full-time. Okay, anything else? Announcements and reports.
Can't keep both.
I think you guys have done a pretty good job of keeping up with this year so far.
Yeah, grass rain started falling at 1:15 this morning.
Yeah, the guy's been putting in a lot of hours. Appreciate it. All right. I guess on discussion action items, February 10th, 2025, planning would be a pleasure.
I move to approve the claims for February 10th, 2025.
And second, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, claims approved. Resolution 6, 2025, adoption of updated Fergus County floodplain hazard management regulations. What do you-
I'm moving to adoption up to the Fergus County floodplain.
Been moved,
Second.
seconded, and discussion. I don't think there's much to discuss. It all seemed pretty straightforward. If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. On to resolution 7, 2025, opposing legislation limiting or prohibiting Montana Association of Counties lobbying on behalf of its members. Would be a pleasure.
I move to accept resolution 7, 2025.
Second.
And second, discussion. So, I'll start off, unless somebody else wants to start off.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
This is something that I think is rolled through the halls of Helena periodically through the many years that there's legislators over there. The last few sessions have gotten, a lot of pressure, trying to limit and clamp down on local government. There's definitely some obsession with that, pushed around the idea of trying to limit property taxes, I think. This bill it's like I said, it's not a new one. It sticks its ugly head up every once in a while. And there's legislators that I think are just trying to make a point. And I'm not exactly sure what that is, other than sometimes they don't like it when the county commissioners or their representatives are over there on opposite sides of bills that somebody's trying to put in. They try to talk about it as a way of saving money, and that the tax dollars shouldn't be used for lobbying government. However, as local government, as county commissioners, and I'm sure the city commissioners would say the same thing. We've been elected to represent our communities in the form of government that we have at the local level, which means it requires us to, run local government. And when the state legislature is over there making decisions or trying to make rules that make it harder or less efficient, or just flat get in the way of
Yes.
the ability to govern ourselves, it's important that we have a voice. And I can guarantee you that if we're going to stand up and represent local government as individual commissioners, every time a bill comes up that has impact on us, one thing, it requires a lot of time spent following bills and determining if one of these 4,000 proposed bills affects us. And that's very time consuming. And when we do determine it impacts us, then we have to decide, how do we handle that? Certainly we try to keep in contact with our local elected officials. But when it's going before a committee or being heard, you need to be over there talking to the people that are pursuing it to either help them write a bill that's useful, or to kill a bad one, or to promote a good one. And if every commissioner in every county needed to drive to Helena every time one of these bills came up, the fiscal note for that would be excessive. So we've traditionally had the ability to belong to an association that, among, all of its duties, a portion of that, with the Montana Association of Counties, for example, is in helping us in getting our voice heard in Helena. They do a good job of it. They really do understand state law and local government, and they're able to look at it in a way that even a lot of times the commissioner is going to miss, because they see the bigger picture, because they're so engaged, and they provide good counsel. And they're also there able to, provide that voice every day of the session. So I think it's a very misguided view. I think it's kind of an emotional response by some legislators to try to prove that they're more conservative or something than the next one, and they're going to save money. And that's patently false. But it definitely will be difficult for us to do our job if we don't have somebody over there looking out for us. So I think it's important. This is just one step. We're probably all going to have to spend some time going over there testifying on this bill. It's going to cost the county dollars every time we do that. So I would recommend that if you know your legislator or senator, that you would please call them and tell them this is a really stupid idea, and that local government needs to have its voice in the halls at all times.
So question.
Yeah.
Is this specific to SB 254?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Okay. So it's not just counties, it's all political subdivisions, judicial officers, and school districts.
Yep.
So there, it's not just counties. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that MCA code 7-5-2141 empowers counties to spend their tax dollars on joining organizations. And this is one that we belong to. We also pay dues to Mackers, correct?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
MTNRC.
Well, and when you talk about local government, you also have the MSPOA, the Sheriff's Association, you have the county attorneys, you have the clerk and recorders, you have the treasurers,
District court.
district court. They all have functioning associations at different levels. MACO is probably the biggest, most active, but it also provides a much broader scope of resources to us besides just, it's not just lobbying, which is true for the clerks. They also provide so any of these associations help in our daily jobs of having resources when we have questions about how what's the law? How are we supposed to
Yeah.
function?
And they truly do provide the networking, the training to make us better at our jobs. And they also, I think a lot of people don't know, that's the purpose of our policy statements for each committee, is that's the guidance for MACO and how we want to be represented in the legislature and what our priorities are.
Yeah.
So they're not just off on their own. They're using that as guidance. Plus, that is what the weekly meetings are about also, right?
Yep. Yeah, so, and I think a lot of associations are this way, but we have a process we go through to develop our policy that is the guidebook for anybody representing the association in Helena that says, where do we stand on this particular issue? And so we put a lot of time in that, each committee developing that and adding to or changing or whatever through the years. But you don't always get every bill covered entirely in your policy, which is why we have a weekly. And it's the executive committee has the kind of the final authority last minute to make a decision about how they're gonna move forward on an issue. We wind that into what we call our legislative committee, which is the current executive committee, which I'm still on as the immediate past president, but I'll be off that next year. But then as a past president, all past presidents are on that group. And we get together, well, I just got off it was at noon on Monday. We go through what's on the Hill, what's in sight, what do things look like, and how do we want to respond to, different bills that we have impacts with. But I can tell you the MACO staff, they don't make any decisions that hasn't been fully vetted by the commissioners themselves. And it all goes back to the entire body of commissioners have input on it. So that's a good point. Very good.
Although I am
So-
singing to the choir here today.
Well, and John, how does that work with Mackers? Because you've been a big wheel in Mackers for the Montana Association of County Road Supervisors, not to be confused with Mackers Montana Association of Clerk and Recorders.
We do more.
Of course you do, yeah. There were many.
We used to pay a lobbyist.
Yeah.
And then he retired and Mako kind of keeps us informed of stuff that's pertinent to those departments.
Yeah. But we work together, but
But yeah, anything that's gonna affect the county commission is gonna trickle down and affect us ultimately. On most things.
yeah. And Janelle's pretty engaged with the clerks, so. Very engaged. Big wheel. All right. Any other comments, questions? Not, all in favor?
I,
Opposed? All right, resolution has been approved.
So will you send a letter or how will the legislators
So-
know that you just oppose that?
We are going to, well, I'm sure our legislators will know that, we're in contact with them anyway. But we'll send this to Mako to have. And right now there's the discussion, it got postponed. I think it was gonna be heard this week maybe, and now it's been postponed, so we're not sure when the committee hearing is gonna be. And so that'll be a determinants whether all the commissioners from across the entire state show up with the resolution in hand. Or if we point to the reason we have our team over there, which is, here's our input, but our team is there so we don't have to spend the thousands of dollars driving across the state to demonstrate why we have them. So, but they'll get it and we're happy to get you a copy of it. But
So when they-
should be.
Yep.
All right. On to appointments. It looks like we have Nate Stoltz for the Winifred Fire District, replacing Wickens. Was that Matt? I don't know which
I
Wickens was.
think it was Eric.
What's that?
Eric.
Oh, Eric. Oh, okay. All right. What would be your pleasure?
I would move to accept Nathan Stolk for the Winifred Fire Department Board.
Moved and seconded discussion. All in favor?
Aye, sorry.
Opposed? All right. Nate has been appointed. All right, public comment on non-agenda items.
Thank you for all the hard work to all your guys.
You want, I think the thank yous are outweighing the complaints.
Well, that's
for
nice.
change. I think people will public notice that.
Yeah.
Effort we're putting out.
How's your overtime budget?
Huh?
How's your overtime budget?
God,
Shot?
Neil keeps track of that. We definitely had more overtime plowing snow than we've had in a while.
Is there anything that they have to sign in those floodplain things?
Everything,
that
just
packet?
the, resolution,
Or just a resolution? Okay.
and then I need a copy of it, and then I need to send back to Dean or something. No.
Okay, no other comments. Next meeting dates, February 19th at 5:15,
Not.
February 27th at
yeah, that
10,
would be
and
the
March
next one.
10th at 10. However, I'm gonna
The
be,
27th is really right off the tail of
And I've
Mako.
had to move it as far as I could out. So
So it's at 2 now, right?
if you wanted it to, we can. But I pushed it out as far as I can because of that.
yeah, because we won't be back till afternoon. The 27th, because we're in Helena.
Well, I'll be there with you.
So
Don't forget me.
will be gone.
You're right.
So,
I will,
You're
no,
right.
hell no, I'm not riding with you,
so I think that,
but I
I
will. be-
think we should move it to 2 o'clock.
Hell no. No. Okay. All right, so 2 o'clock, then when we had it at,
10.
But then moving the March 10th one, even though you won't. If
so
you
the
can make-
March 10th one is, it doesn't have to be, but I'm gonna be gone. So I
That's
won't
one
be-
that I was requesting to be at 10 because I have to leave that afternoon to go back to Helen.
So what if we did it on Wednesday?
I will be out that week.
Okay, well, I'll be gone, so you guys will have to handle it.
And that's Mackers is later. So, yeah. Okay,
So you good with that then? We're gonna change the March 10th to 10 o'clock. Which, yeah, I had it marked on here, requesting that.
Travis gonna chair that one?
What's that?
Will you chair that one, the March 10th meeting?
No.
He's still,
I'll be here.
he's still the new guy on the block is what I gathered the other day.
Got one more month of that.
No, you get like a year and a half.
Oh,
That's what I was saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
This isn't his first rodeo.
I don't know that Jennifer got a year and a half, but I got a year and a half, so. All right, we all good on the meeting dates and times?
Yes.
All right. There's nothing else, I adjourn.